Alright people, what's going on? My name is Renegade Operative. What is happening in the building? And I wanted to have a formal discussion talking about G4 TV, talking about all of their iterations, talking about how they were on syndicated television and my experience with this program. Before we begin, I want to let people know they are having an AMA on Reddit. Tomorrow. It's going to be tomorrow. It's going to be on the 31st of July on Reddit. If you want to ask them questions, I will leave the link in the description below so you can check it out. They will be talking, I think it's Blair Herder who is hosting the AMA. And the only other thing I remember about the G4 revival is that apparently Xavier Woods, the guy who porked Paige a little bit, you know, he gotten that women's championship, that jelly donut. He wants to be a host on G4 TV. Now, outside of the scandalous nature that involved Paige, I don't mind Xavier Woods. I think Xavier Woods is fine. His gaming channel I saw before and it was pretty cool and I really enjoyed it. So if he was a host on the new reincarnated G4 TV, I would absolutely like it. That being said, let's move on to my experience with the whole shebang, talking about how I got into G4 Tech TV. I know there was multiple iterations of G4 in the past. Before they were G4 Tech TV, I think they were just G4, and then they went into the iteration that I know of currently. G4 was a gaming network centric channel that was syndicated on TV. I'm gonna be honest, back then some people did not have the luxury of the internet. The internet was not as good as it is in 2020. We had shitty dial-up, we had shitty fucking DSL, we had AOL Messenger, you got mail, all that bullshit thrown to the curb, and it was just a mess. It was even a mess just waiting to get on a forum for maybe like 3 minutes or 4 minutes. It was really that slow. All we had back then to rely on with gaming news is either word of mouth, because most people, they're gonna trust like maybe their brother or their sister or maybe their schoolmates to recommend them said game. And then we had sharing games and borrowing games back then, and we also had the gaming magazines that was like Game Pro, Game Informer, and we read those and we got free demos and we understood what was going on in the gaming population in terms of new information. When G4 TV was first conceived, I never really seen anything like that before. The most I saw with gaming related content and TV came through commercials. They would show Resident Evil 3 Nemesis on SmackDown, they would show all this other stuff on wrestling, and I saw those gaming commercials. Never before did I see a whole syndicated block based on gaming and nerd culture, and I really did enjoy it. I think I started getting into it when I started seeing shows like Cheat would really help me in games like Metal Gear Solid 3, where I was stuck and I didn't know how a boss fight worked or I didn't know how certain mechanics worked. Cheat was like the first walkthrough that I ever saw with like Kristen Holt, and I remember she was like, she's gorgeous, man, she's fucking super attractive, right? I just remember that show really helping me get through a lot of hurdles with a game, and that was good. You know, when you're playing a game back then, you mostly had either strategy guides or you had to figure it out. In that regard, you had someone actually walking you through and showing you new things that you never really seen before. XPlay was a show where they were brutally honest, brutally sarcastic. Adam Sessler and Morgan Webb, they tore the shit out of certain games that they did not like. And it's clear that everyone has a bias when they review something, you know, that's pretty much irrefutable. That always happens each and every single time. I think that was part of XPlay's appeal as well, because you are positioned to simply not agree with everything that they say, whether it's for better or worse. Maybe you'll agree, maybe you'll disagree. XPlay had a bias clearly for some JRPGs, and they would cast some stuff to the side like nothing, utterly decimate said game. And I think this is where a lot of brutal honesty reviews really stem from. People want to just do and emulate that style, and that's what XPlay really did the best. I think other shows as well, like there was shows that were not about gaming that was pretty enjoyable, like Ninja Warrior, where you get to see these people put their skills to the test and and they get to run through an obstacle course. It's nothing new. We've seen American Gladiator before. It's nothing new. It's just taken to new heights, and it's something that we also watched when gaming wasn't prevalent during that time. There was also other things as well on the show. I really enjoyed Tommy Tallarico and Victor Lucas, and when they were doing Electric Playground and they were doing all these interviews. I think icons really appeal to those people who want to know more about the gaming scene and these big pioneers like Hideo Kojima, Shigeru Miyamoto, Cliffy B. They really want to know what their thought process was before making these games. Icons really tailored to that notion. It was all about interviewing the game developer, getting backstory as to what was going on in their life, and understanding the ideas they created for these big time franchises like Gears, Metal Gear Solid, Resident Evil, Mario, Zelda, etc. It had it all, and I really enjoyed it. It was like opening up a page that I never really peeked into before, outside of just reading it on a magazine and understanding what happened with the game developer. I just remember one point in time where Konami was absolutely off their rocker, dude. They absolutely did not want a concept like Metal Gear to begin with. To think about that now, they did not want Metal Gear because it encouraged you to sneak around. They didn't like the concept. They thought it was boring, and they weren't going to commission it at first before they gave Kojima another shot. And then lo and behold, Metal Gear turns into a multi-million-dollar franchise. It was interesting to see that course of events from the past to the present to the future, and see how the company was back then to now, and I really did enjoy that as well. We never really had peeks under the hood before with developers, and if they were indeed present in the past, you really have to scrounge to find them, read articles, read magazines, or actually go into game demos where they're doing a making of, and it might be for like a few short seconds and that's it. Icons was the real deal. It was the whole shebang. We got a full-fledged, fully cooked meal with the developers and finding out their backstory and how they got into the gaming scene. I think it just goes from the good, the bad, and the ugly. Those shows were awesome, and Robot Wars and Ninja Warrior and some of that stuff, it was cool to see. And then we got to the shows where I was like 50-50. Cinematech, I don't know what the point of that show was. If you're playing AAA games, why would you want to spoil yourself to the cutscenes of said game? That show was basically cutscene centric. That's it. And then they had Nocturnal Emissions, which showed more weirder Japanese style things, and it was super ultra strange, and it was like you were watching people play Katamari Damacy, and I was like, what is this in particular? I don't get it. I'm gonna be honest, I was 50-50 on Attack of the Show. It wasn't bad, I didn't hate it, but it wasn't as good as I thought it could have been, because the synergy of the co-host was really kind of weird in certain instances. I remember the best thing they did on Attack of the Show was getting Olivia Munn to jump in a giant pool of whipped cream. I'm not shitting you. And I thought that Kevin Pereira himself, he's boring as a co-host. Like, he didn't have that gusto as a co-host, and I really wasn't feeling that show. If they were talking about like news, tech, tips, games, all that stuff, it was like a big variety show. It had something for everyone. It just didn't appeal to me all the way due to how the hosting was. There was also reruns of Cops over and over and over again in this show called Cheaters, where people would go around and cheat on their male spouses or their female spouses, and it was just ran in the syndicated blocks where you're like, let's get back to the gaming, let's reel it back and get back to the gaming. I don't care about this reality TV garbage with cops and cheaters. And they constantly kept showing it over and over and over again, and I know why they did it, because they had to put something on that block to appeal to their advertisers, maybe get some money and put that there. It just bogged down the experience of the show, and it felt inconsistent with their goal, which is showing something gaming related. I don't want to see people get brutally beat down by the cops on a gaming network, you know. I don't want to see that reality TV stuff there. Let's get back to the gaming shit. With our current climate, I don't want to see that in general, you know. I want to see fucking video games and people actually doing well for themselves and not being ostracized by the cops. Anyway, like, moving on from that, let's just get back into one of the real positives that they had. That was the saving grace. I did enjoy their format for hosting E3 every year. They will actually go out there, they will host a show, and they will also give us inside looks and trailers, which was once again foreign at the time because YouTube live streaming, it did not exist. I really appreciate that format carrying over into the mainstream market as it is today. COVID is still happening, of course, but them live streaming games and all that stuff and showing announcements, that's still going on today, and I really love that news. However, I think most shows, they really started to lose their luster. You could really tell with XPlay, it was going downhill fast. It wasn't the same when they started replacing hosts and Sessler left. It wasn't the same chemistry as it was before. And then we also had the constant reruns, which didn't do any good. And I think the demand to keep it on television wasn't working out as well. When the internet started getting really popular, it was like probably, well, we could watch this web show online and probably have the same experience with more views and more traction, so why should we even keep this around? I'm sure that was happening to a lot of people when they were jumping ship to other publications and they found better work, and then G4 just went the way of the dodo and it stopped existing on television. Now they're bringing it back, and my main concern is, how do you bring back this project to stick in with the online market? You need the variety of a channel to go through with it on YouTube. I don't think they should go back to TV anymore. That would be a death sentence, really. I don't think they would have enough content, enough variety, and enough with the gusto and everything and the co-hosts and everything to really have that syndicated television block that wouldn't repeat the same mistakes yet again. I think what they need is probably a dedicated YouTube channel, maybe some new faces. I think Xavier Woods is a good pick, and then have the variety you had in the past, but keep the shows to their original format. So XPlay, it should be brutally honest. Remember the absolute hilarity that came from skits like Bob and Steve when they were doing the Splinter Cell Chaos Theory co-op and they were always shooting each other, or Bob was calling Steve's mom a whore? How about bringing that back? You should have maybe other shows come back like Cheat and all that other stuff, and try to make it the best quality that you can under this umbrella. Get exclusive interviews, get that exclusive coverage as much as you can, and try to make it your own original thing, because being a content creator like that, anyone could do a walkthrough, anyone could do playthroughs, all that stuff, anyone can host a show. You just have to do it at the best of your possible ability. That's what they need to do. They need to bring back that old XPlay spark, because now you have other content creators out there that have like 1 million viewers, that have like 1 million subs. How do you stack against the competition already on YouTube if you try to put your service from the past on there against that competition? You have to be the best you possibly can. I think XPlay and all that other stuff and Attack of the Show, they may get an audience, but they have to really make it the best they possibly can. You have to mix old and new, and I'm really worried about that. I'm really worried how they will commit to this, because I don't want it to be a project just based on nostalgia and then it fails before it even begins. I hope they really think about how the climate is out here now and how they're going to bring back something of the past and relive it to their fullest extent. The only way they could do that is by having a good quality control and understanding how these shows worked in the past and how they won't be bogged down by syndicated television, by live streaming, or doing uploads. Anyway, I wish G4 TV the best, because it's hard out here for a content creator, let me tell you. Anyway, this is Renegade Operative signing off. That is my experience with G4 Tech TV and my thoughts of them coming back and my concerns and what I liked, what I disliked, etc. Once again, if you like this video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. That really helps me out a lot. And tell me, what do you think about the G4 channel, and what do you think about it finally coming back into fruition? How should they do it? What are some of the mistakes that they shouldn't be making this time around? And what do you think they should do in terms of content? Leave your comment below. This is Renegade Operative once again signing out. Take care, be safe from COVID, and I will see you guys next time. Later. Also, what the fuck? Like, how the fuck? How in the name, how in the Lamb of God did I make this a G4 video discussion without mentioning Code Monkeys or Happy Little Tree Friends? Like, how the fuck? How do I do that? How do you do this? Either way, I didn't watch Code Monkeys that much, so that's easy to bypass. Happy Little Tree Friends was like fucking furries killing each other in Mortal Kombat style ways, man. That was crazy back in the day, man. I'm telling you, I wish I did watch Code Monkeys though. Maybe there's something there. Maybe there's something that's interesting. Who knows? I might have to do that someday. I just might have to. Oh shit, I forgot to mention Arena. Oh shit, Team Rednecks versus Team Payback. Yo baby, let's go. I remember they used to play Unreal Tournament against each other all the time. That was really the first competitive gaming show that I ever seen on G4. Man, that joint was solid, dog. That shit was so cool. I loved Arena. I loved Arena so much. I didn't see it during the carnation of G4 that I watched. I do remember it though. That was cool. They used to play SOCOM and shit competitively. Oh man, bring that shit back. I want to see competitive SOCOM come back. I'm tired of all this stuff like Overwatch and Siege. Fuck that. Bring back Arena. Let's go, man. I'm getting overhyped. Goddamn. Anyway, I'm really signing out. So once again, peace out.